What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe.
The New Orleans Saints. And they fall to the Carolina Panthers, something we told you was a real possibility. The Saints on the road in an actual NFL game were a touchdown favorite. That made no sense to any of us on Thursday. We talked about it in length. Like, you played the Little Sisters of the Poor. I don't know that you would be or should be a touchdown favorite on the road against the Little Sisters of the Poor. The fact that they were was surprising. But they were, because the Panthers were, air quotes here, worse than you are. I don't know that that exists in the NFL, but the Panthers played inspired football because, look, the stats, they don't necessarily tell the story of the game. Like, if you look at the actual team stats of this game, first downs, Saints 25, Carolina 15. You look at total plays, New Orleans 74, Carolina 50. How about the total yards? Well, New Orleans 427 total yards to 246. Passing yards, New Orleans 230 to 166. What about rushing? 197 rushing yards to only 80 for Carolina. Penalties, here's where it starts to change a little bit. New Orleans had 10 for 109, Carolina 6 for 55. In fact, you didn't have a turnover, by the way. No turnovers, and Carolina had one. Bryce Young threw an interception. You won the time of possession 34-19 to 25-41. Tate, if I threw those stats out to you before the game, with the Saints playing the Panthers, the one-win Panthers, you would have said, absolutely, they win the game, right?
Oh, 100%. You know, I went back and actually rewatched some of this game.
Oh,
I
God
know
bless you.
I punished myself on a Sunday because I'm trying to figure out when the Saints lost this game, because even when it's a one-possession game, you never really felt threatened by the Carolina Panthers the entire game, and then 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, they're going down the field with a chance to win this game, and you're like, how did this happen? It was just too many missed opportunities. You mentioned it, like, you force a turnover, you don't get a touchdown off of it. You're driving down the field, you get a penalty, you get backed up, 1st and 20, you ultimately have to punt. I mean, there were too many times where you're like, okay, this is the drive where the Saints are going to break through. And for whatever reason, they couldn't do it. They had to settle for a field goals a lot of times. They punted way more times than they needed to. Your punter is terrible. Matthew Hebert cannot punt. I mean,
he's better at running fakes than punting.
Yes. I mean, there were times you're like, okay, well, at least you're going to flip field position, and he drops it at the 50, and then the Panthers actually have short field position to go. It's just one mistake after another. I mean, it's just bad football all the way around.
Inside the Bayou 4 chat, Easy E82, Jake, can we be Chargers fans now? You know it's bad. You know it's bad when people are asking to be Bush League Bolts fans. You know that you're in a bad spot there. But yeah, absolutely, you can. That would make like 5 of us here in Louisiana, so we would absolutely allow that. It's just, it's embarrassing. I mean, in all phases of what the Saints are right now, it's just embarrassing. And it starts at the top. We all know that. Like, this is a game that you absolutely have to, need to, should win, and you didn't get it done. Like, when we lay out those stats, when we talk about what you did well compared to what they did, but you just right now, from the top down, you just don't have the instinct to go win a football game. I don't know if y'all agree with this. I don't know, Alondra, if you had a chance to watch the game.
Unfortunately, I did.
Carolina and their sideline, they felt like every play they made, you saw them celebrate it. You saw them enjoy it. You saw them try to feed off that one play and take it to the next play.
Yeah, they looked like they were hype every single time anything happened. And I say I unfortunately did tune in. Like, I didn't watch the first. I refused to watch it, and then I just tuned in, and I was like, "Oh, we're losing." Like, I think it was 7-6 when I tuned the game, and I was like, "This is just not even losing to the Panthers." Not that I had any expectations for the Saints for the rest of the season, but losing to the Panthers is literally rock bottom. It cannot get worse than what it is now. Bring the paper bags back.
Ugh, the Aints, huh?
The Aints. That's where we're at. Unfortunately.
No,
That's where
I
we're at.
mean,
it's bad.
there's been times in Saints history that have been like that, like you're talking about. And, growing up in the early 90s, mid-90s more, because, I mean, the early 90s, you had the Dome Patrol and the Cajun Cannon, but, like, it felt bad then, but I never felt like everything was checked out. Like, now you kind of feel like everything's checked out right now. And that's because, in my opinion, right, you've got a head coach that should not be in place. And you have a head coach that is not going to galvanize this team to go win one for this coach. Like, I've played for teams that it's like, coach is kind of in trouble. Hey, guys, we got to pick this thing up. Like, if we don't, coach ain't going to be here.
Yeah.
We like coach. We want him to be here. I don't feel that.
No.
I don't feel that at all.
Absolutely not.
I mean, Jake, is it like Alondra said, like, is it rock bottom to lose to the Panthers? Sure, but it's actually worse than that, if you can believe it, because look at the fallout of yesterday's game. I mean, sure, you have Michael Thomas doing what he does. That didn't really count. He does that every game. But Kalen Saunders tweets out, hey, let me play offense the rest of the year. At least it'll be entertaining to watch. Cam Jordan, who never runs his mouth, went on social media and apologized to Saints fans for how bad they are. I mean, I've never seen it like this. Like, growing up here in Louisiana, I've seen some bad Saints teams. I've never seen the locker room this disengaged. I've never seen a team that appears to be this divided publicly. I've never seen this.
And we'll get to the Michael Thomas stuff. It is what it is. I mean, he's done that before, like Taylor said. And Derek Carr, I know in his post-game press conference, acknowledged it and talked about it as like the only teammate that's never really, been my guy. We get all that. We'll get there. There's so much to get to, like, before then. Like, that's Derek Carr. You know what Derek Carr did actually become yesterday? You might see this
He made
stat.
history.
He did make history.
Well, the Saints made history too.
Oh, I know. I'm about to give that one.
Yeah.
But for Derek Carr, if you missed this, he is now the only quarterback to lose to all 31 NFL teams. So congratulations.
He's like the opposite of Tom Brady.
Who's beat on 31 teams, right? Yeah.
The only one he hasn't beat is the Raiders. Or lost to is the Raiders, is what I read.
Well, I mean, he played for the Raiders,
Yeah,
so
that's
you
what,
really
but
lose.
the Saints face the Raiders December 29th.
Yeah,
he's
he can
losing
get that done.
He can Thanos.
There's no doubt he'll lose that game.
He can really Thanos the.
Yeah. But thank you, Vegas. Two thank yous to Vegas. One, for the Saints being a touchdown favorite against anybody, and then two, Vanderbilt being a touchdown dog to anybody right now. Like, thank you for those.
We were talking about that game Friday. We broke down, I'm like, why is Vanderbilt the underdog in this game? Auburn has no juice whatsoever. I mean, that was an easy one.
But the talent that Auburn has, how far does that get you?
Yeah.
Get you a loss, because talent only gets you in the door. What are you going to do once you get there? Vanderbilt's going to punch you in the mouth. I know Colt's going through security right now, so we're going to delay him a little bit. He was 7-10, but actually, thankfully, because we can have our grievances here on air. The stat Alondra was talking about, the Saints outgained the Panthers by 150 yards, ran for 150-plus yards, and won the turnover battle. Over the last 20 years, teams have gone 275 and nada with that formula. No losses. 275 times it's happened in the National Football League. That team has won 275 times. Now, 275 and 1. Because the New Orleans Saints found a way to lose that game to one of the worst teams that I've ever seen on a football field in the professional ranks.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.